And we have a guest on the line today from Malibu, California. That's why I'm wearing the Hawaiian shirt. And it is Bob.
When we click on it, so even...
Hello, Bobby.
Yes, sir.
Now we're on the air.
We're on the air. Good morning.
Introduce yourself, Bobby, please, to our audience.
Hello, audience. I'm Bobby Lehmkuhl from Malibu, California.
All right. We're so happy to have you on the show today with us. Let's talk a little bit about your history in the industry, but even before that, did you grow up in Malibu?
No, I didn't well, I have grown up in Malibu, but I didn't get here until I was a teenager after my parents got divorced. But my cousins have been here since the late 40s, and my great aunt. So we have some history here.
Since you've been in Malibu, have you always been in real estate? What brought you to the industry?
Well, I made my first deal in 1988. I was pretty young. That was a while ago. What happened was there was a couple of friends that I had, and three of us bought two homes together in the valley here in California. The valleys, San Fernando, Santa Clarita, and Antelope Valley are the three valleys that we dealt with. And we couldn't afford to purchase here. One of the friends was selling these townhomes down where I lived in Latigo, like mid-Malibu, and that's how it all started.
So after investing in real estate, you got your broker's license, or you had your license first?
I had my license first. I worked for Ford Motor Company, and I started out in collections and then went and worked for a major player, Mr. Bachman, who's still a mentor to this day. And basically, we bought some homes. I watched my mother buy some property back east, oddly enough, in Maine, which I still own property in Maine, and watched her develop a hillside, and it paid off our home. So I always had that in the back of my mind that I could do. I could really maneuver in real estate.
So you have your own company now, correct?
Yes. I do have partners. I have three other partners, but the company, I bought the website back in the early 90s, well, probably mid-90s, and not realizing what it was going to become. And then I took on, our bookkeeper is still with us, the original, and Danielle was my right hand. She's still with us. And then we merged. We had Brant, and then we merged with Aton, and that's the four of us, which doesn't really have anything to do with the 4Malibu.com.
Right.
We didn't know there was going to be four partners when it started.
So you yourself owned the URL at that point?
Yes.
Early on. What sets you apart from your competition?
Service, I would say, and just being present. We pretty much eat, live, and breathe real estate. We train 5 days a week on various aspects of real estate, and we take it serious. We're not in numbers as far as we don't just hire anyone, or to bring in an associate. We're very, very, very picky about who we bring in, especially now.
So how many associates do you have?
We have about 20, and to put it into perspective, in Malibu, this is the latest report from January, and the report was from Coldwell Banker. Coldwell Banker does about 30% of the beach. Sotheby's and Prudential merged together. They do about 11.5% of the beach, and those are pretty big companies. Sotheby's bought Prudential here in Malibu,
right?
And we do 10.5% of the beach.
Very good.
And it goes on down the line. So we're in third place in the last 12 months rolling with very few agents. And to put it into perspective, I'm guessing Caldwell has over 300 agents here in Malibu.
So per agent productivity...
we crush them.
So if you're doing statistics, and anyone can be number one in some statistic, as far as agent productivity, you're number one.
I would say pound for pound, dollar for dollar, we are definitely number one in that area.
Okay, good. So I'm talking to the right guy. Explain when you say the beach, and now you were specifically referring to all of Malibu?
No, just everything on the beach side of the Pacific Coast Highway, on the sand.
Now, many years ago, I drove up the Pacific Coast Highway, and I think I didn't go past Malibu, but I remember being at the beach and seeing like a tennis court hanging off a cliff. It looked like the cliff had eroded under it, and looked like all the brush had been burnt, and the water was freezing. So I thought to myself, I don't think this is for me. But I know that Malibu has some very expensive real estate and probably some very famous residents.
Yeah, and when you said that, why would someone choose us? I mean, we do represent from A-list clientele to Fortune 100 and Fortune 400, and I really believe that we call it the power of trust, but I believe it's the confidentiality and how we handle situations. And I mean, obviously I'm under confidentiality agreements with a lot of these deals, so I can't really talk about it, but even in the last few weeks, we've been on the radar where people have been trying to get information, and we had one of the business managers call and basically tell us, hey, thank you. We realize you're doing everything to keep it as confidential as possible, and he's like, they were very grateful for us. And I really think that's another part of it, having our ear to the ground. We work here, we live here. And it's not like we wouldn't make a sale anywhere else in the country. We've sold in the Carolinas. We've sold in British Columbia. We have property listed in Fiji and internationally. We just happen to be, here in Malibu. It's 27 miles long, and there's a lot of property from the mountains to the beach. Like, there's really, really, really beautiful area. I can't even tell you how awesome it is.